Hey everyone, and welcome back to Hoffman Engineering. Curious if a 60-watt MOPA fiber laser can transform your workshop? In this video, I spent the last month pushing the Monport GA60 through its paces, cutting and engraving metals, plastics, leather, and stone, to see if it really lives up to its specs. We'll explore its one-touch autofocus, blistering 10,000 millimeters per second galvo speed, and the MOPA pulse control that produces stunning rainbow hues on stainless steel. I'll guide you through both the BSLAppSimple and Lightburn setups, share the exact settings that delivered my best results, and point out where it shines, and where it stumbles. Stick around for a chance to win a free can of Monport black metal laser spray, and decide if the GA60 deserves a spot in your shop. Let's fire it up. Before we begin, this GA60 MOPA fiber laser was provided for me to review by Monport. As with all of my reviews, they aren't paying me for this review, and everything I say is my own honest opinion after using this laser for the last month. Monport is sponsoring a giveaway for my viewers. Simply share this video on any social media platform and use the Google form linked in the description to send me your email. I'll send the first 60 people who shared and filled out the form a promo code for a free can of Monport black metal laser spray. Thank you, Monport, for providing this giveaway to my viewers. So now that you've shared this video, let's get into it. The Monport GA60 is a 60-watt MOPA fiber laser. This fiber laser produces a 1064 nanometer wavelength infrared laser, which is perfect for engraving and cutting almost all metals and plastics, including gold, silver, titanium, steel, and aluminum. It can also work on other materials like stone, ceramic, and leather. Fiber lasers do not work on wood or clear materials like glass or clear acrylic. The Monport GA60 is a single unit, with a laser source in the base that transmits the laser through a fiber optic cable up to the laser head at the top. Inside the laser head are two galvo mirrors, which work together to move the laser up to 10,000 millimeters per second. The laser passes through the lens and down onto the material that you are engraving below. All fiber lasers are pulsed lasers, firing the laser thousands or millions of times per second. The GA60 MOPA fiber laser has a pulse frequency range of 1 to 3000 kHz. Different materials respond better to different frequencies, and the GA60 MOPA has a large range of frequencies to really let you dial in those settings. The GA60 is also a MOPA fiber laser. MOPA, which stands for Master Oscillator Power Amplifier, gives you even more control over the laser. You can adjust the waveform of each pulse down to the nanosecond. This lets the laser achieve peak power at almost any frequency, unlike non-MOPA fiber lasers, which lose power at higher frequencies. MOPAs give you another setting that lets you dial in a material, and is extremely useful for creating a rainbow of colors on materials like stainless steel. The GA60 has one button autofocus. Simply move your material over the focus area and press the button. The GA60 will measure the distance from the laser head to the surface of your material and automatically move the laser head the perfect distance away. I found this focusing method to be extremely useful. It was calibrated perfectly. I never had to think about adjusting the focus. I just had to put my material on and press the button. You can adjust the laser head using the up and down buttons at the front, or manually move the laser head using the knob at the top. The GA60 also has dual red dot focusing guides. It uses a red dot attached to the laser head, combined with the inline red laser that shines through the lens. You would adjust the laser head up or down until those two dots met. That indicates that you are in the perfect focus position. But I never had to do that, since the autofocus worked so well. The GA60 is a beefy machine, coming in at 42 centimeters wide by 60 centimeters deep and 66 centimeters tall. That's 16 inches by 24 inches by 26 inches. The size is to accommodate the GA60's work area of 175 millimeters by 175 millimeters, or 6.9 inches by 6.9 inches. This is a large work area, and I never felt limited by space. If you do need more space though, the laser head can be rotated 90 degrees to the side. This allows you to position the laser over almost any object, and is a very handy feature to see. The work area has a grid of bolt holes which can be used to attach the included material jigs. This can help you position your materials you are engraving, lift them off the surface, and allow for repeated positioning for batch jobs. On the front we see the buttons for moving the laser head up and down, as well as the autofocus button. At the bottom we see a switch for powering the laser. This switch can also be used as an emergency cutoff switch to turn off the laser without needing to reach around to the main power switch on the back. Next to the power button is the mark button. This can be used to start a job. The GA60 has an inline red laser, which shines through the galvos and lens onto your material. This lets you precisely position your material. And once you have your material positioned correctly, you can push the mark button to start the engraving process without needing to go back to your computer. I loved this workflow. position your material, push the button. Very easy. Moving around the back, we see the main power input and the power switch. We also see the USB Type-B input for controlling the laser with your computer. I made a separate video showcasing the initial uncrating and setup for the GA60. If you are interested in the nitty-gritty details, then you can check out my previous video and follow along. The hardest part of assembling the GA60 was removing it from the crate it ships in. That's right, a full wooden crate. The crate weighs close to 100 pounds. I recommend having another person to help move it. Using a hammer and a crowbar, you can lift off the staples holding on the lid. The laser head just unfolds open and is secured by 2 small thumb screws. I found it easier to unfold the laser head in the crate, and then I could lift it out by myself. And we are done. No other assembly is required. I was up and running with the GA60 in a matter of minutes. Monport provides a copy of BSLAppSimple, the successor of EasyCAD, on the included USB drive. You can launch the app directly from there to get up and running quickly. Monport calibrates every machine at the factory and includes the machine-specific config settings on the included USB drive. Those machine-specific calibrations are also engraved on a panel on the side of the laser, so you can cross-reference with that. So launching the included software will also load the correct configs for your laser. Looking at the autosave directory on the USB drive, we can see the files used to engrave the calibration panels on the side, as well as the autofocus label on the base. There is something awesome in knowing that this laser helped make itself. The GA60 can also work with Lightburn. You'll need a Lightburn Pro license for fiber lasers, but it is well worth the license cost. I love Lightburn, and most of my testing was done using it. Lightburn can import the EasyCAD config file, saving you setup time. And the great thing about BSLAppSimple is that the drivers do not conflict with Lightburn like the old EasyCAD 2 drivers did. So you can switch between the 2 programs without needing to uninstall or reinstall drivers. It just worked. I did run into one point of confusion with Lightburn. If you want the full details and how I tested and verified the correct configuration, you can see my previous setup video for the Monport GA60. But the main problem is that when following the setup steps in the GA60's manual, step 14 shows you how to manually modify the device parameters. And the manual shows that Galvo 1 on the nameplate should be Galvo 1 in Lightburn, and Galvo 2 should be Galvo 2. However, when Lightburn imported the EasyCAD config files, Lightburn had them swapped. Galvo 1 settings were listed under Galvo 2 and vice versa. Long story short, Lightburn imported it correctly and the manual is wrong. Again, you can see my previous video for how I validated it if you are interested. But Lightburn is amazing and it worked perfectly with the GA60. So with all of the specs out of the way, let's take a look at how well the Monport GA60 MOPA can cut and engrave. As always, know what materials are safe to use in a laser. Many materials can cause irreversible damage to the machine or to you. So never cut unknown materials and always use proper eye protection and fume extraction. First up, coated aluminum. This laser makes extremely quick work of removing the coating from aluminum. I found my best results at 6,000 millimeters per second with 50% power, 50 kHz frequency, and a Q pulse of 200 nanoseconds. This would be a great machine to churn out aluminum business cards fast. You can also engrave aluminum. It is very loud when you start to engrave the aluminum itself. And with the power of this 60-watt laser, it is easy to turn up the power a little too high and start to engrave into the aluminum rather than just remove the coating. But if you really want to engrave metal, I love deep engraving on brass. And this is where the GA60 can really stretch its legs. Running at 90% power for the main engraving, and a lower power cleanup pass every 5 layers, these deep engraved brass coins are beautiful. It easily ate through the material, engraving 1.5 millimeters deep in just over an hour. Lightburn makes it easy to create these kind of coins by using a grayscale depth map and Lightburn's 3D slice feature. And speaking of cutting, I picked up a variety of thicknesses of stainless steel shim stock to try and cut. The 0.05 millimeters cut easily, taking just 1 or 2 passes to cut clean through. Doubling it to 0.1 millimeters thick increased the number of passes to 5 or 6. But heat management became a problem, causing the steel to start to warp. Doubling the thickness again to 0.2 millimeters, and the warping becomes unmanageable. Some of the sides were cut all the way through, but between warping and the fire of my wood backing caused me to stop before I was fully able to cut out the designs. If you have tips for cutting stainless steel on a fiber laser like this, I would love to hear your suggestions in the comments. The Monport GA60 has another trick up its sleeves for stainless steel. The MOPA functionality makes it perfect for creating colored oxides on stainless steel. By varying all of the settings, power, frequency, line interval, and Q pulse, you can achieve breathtaking colors on stainless steel, and they are even more vibrant in person. but beautiful blues, greens, purples, orange, magentas, and golds can be achieved just by adjusting some settings. And moving on from metals, the GA60 has great results on darker acrylics. Again, the MOPA functionality lets you find the perfect settings for creating crisp, high contrast white markings on black acrylic. These 3D print log keychains turned out amazing. Other dark plastics also work great. This is a 3D print using a navy blue matte PLA plastic. The white designs are crisp. This would be great for marking 3D printed panels, enclosures, or other 3D printed parts. The color of the plastic matters. Lighter colored or clear plastics will not work, but darker colored plastics work great. Natural materials are also a good use case for the GA60. This dark leather left a lovely gold appearance. It was also easy to use too much power and cut or burn entirely through the leather. Much like the plastics, lighter colored leathers do not work as well. Finally, stones and ceramics also work well. I love this slate coaster. By using a higher power and fewer passes, you can deeply engrave the slates. It gives an awesome 3D effect, even without using Lightburn's 3D slice mode like I did with the brass coins. In conclusion, I was very impressed by the Monport GA60 60-watt MOPA Fiber Laser. This is a beast of a laser engraver. It is both physically large and also has a large 175mm by 175mm working area. The autofocus feature is very handy. You no longer have to spend time looking to where you place the ruler to adjust the focal distance. You can just press the focus button. And once in focus, pressing the mark button on the front to start jobs makes the workflow very easy. And the results speak for themselves. I was impressed by the power. The 60-watt fiber laser easily deeply engraved these brass coins, and the colors that you can achieve on stainless steel thanks to the MOPA pulse adjustments are stunning. The 60 watts easily cut through stainless steel sheet metal, although I will need more experience and a different technique to be able to cut without warping. If you need more or less power than this GA 60-watt provides, then you can get all of the same features in the lower powered 30-watt variants or the more powerful 100-watt variants. Besides the discrepancy between the steps in the manual and Lightburn's config imports, I ran into no issues while testing the Monport GA60. It was a rock-solid machine that was easy to work with and reliably handled all of my tests. That is, once you pass the first challenge of opening up the shipping crate and lifting out this laser. The Monport GA60 MOPA Fiber Laser is on sale for $4,599 at the time of recording. With the current landscape of tariffs, you'll have to check out the website for the latest pricing. But Monport is also offering a free K40 40-watt CO2 laser at checkout, so that is interesting. At $4,599, that puts the GA60 right in the middle of the market. The GA60 has a larger working area than many other 60-watt MOPA fiber lasers, and that commands a slightly higher price. If you need more or less power, the GA 30-watt is on sale for $3,499, and the GA 100-watt sells for $6,499. So there are options depending on how much power your use case needs. Cutting or deep engraving metals, then the higher power the better. Wanting to engrave plastics or create beautiful stainless steel colors, then the lower power version would be fine. I think that the Monport GA60 60-watt MOPA fiber laser is a great fit for a small business or company looking for a capable fiber laser with a larger working area and all of the adjustments that come with MOPA lasers, while also having all of the convenience features such as autofocus and a mark starting button. It's not exactly portable, but if that's not an issue for you, then I could highly recommend the Monport GA60. So thank you all for watching my review of the Monport GA60 MOPA Fiber Laser. What was your favorite feature? What features do you think it's missing? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget about Monport's giveaway. Simply share this video and fill out the form in the description, with the first 60 people getting a code for a free can of Monport Black Metal Laser Spray. Thanks again, Monport. I have plenty of other laser reviews and projects in the works, so be sure to subscribe to Hoffman Engineering so you don't miss out on my upcoming videos. And if you are still in the market for a fiber laser, check out my review of the GWIC G2 Max, a 50-watt non-MOPA fiber laser. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.